So some more spiritual approaches to healing fear. I'll just give you one that may seem really, that reads inspiring spiritual material, that's real. I can tell you now, one of the most intense, fearful experiences I had, which went on for a couple days, I mean, to the point where I was having trouble sleeping, one of the most helpful things I did was reading inspiring spiritual material, authentic, deeply spiritual material. Why was this so helpful? It's something, I was emotionally very distraught, but it's something I knew that I could do with my mind, and that reading that inspiring spiritual material would help reawaken my awareness of my soul nature and get me back to a sense of spiritual peace and calmness. And while it took a while, I read quite a number of pages there, but it was successful, and it helped me in a profound way shift my perspective and get back in touch with my true nature as a soul being. And it may seem, wow, that's really counterintuitive, but it's a really straightforward thing you can do. And I tell you, when one of the more intense, fearful experiences I ever had in my life, it was very helpful to me, profoundly so. Also, participating in small spiritual groups for community and connection. Now, why is this helpful to healing fear? Just in general, think of the word connection. Think of the word community. Come in unity. You're moving away from the idea that you're separate and alone. Why do you think self-help groups are all over the place? There's thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Why are they profoundly effective in bringing a sense of healing and a reduction in fear to people? Because they create a sense of connection and community. So once again, there are many groups like that. I like ones that have a more spiritual focus because it's more directly going to the place of connection that will be profoundly healing and helpful. Using a spiritual diary to record not only your dreams, but also your spiritual experiences and insights, which foster soul awareness. That always reinforces your sense of identity as a soul, as a spiritual being. Anything that does that helps you experience your sense of connection more deeply. This last one, why am I putting that down? Live in harmony with your heart's desire. Because I want to give you something here that relates to spiritual fear. You would say, well, that's a contradiction in terms. No, if you're not living in accord with your heart's desire, in accord with your soul's purpose, then you might have a vague sense of unease, a sense of spiritual emptiness, a sense of disconnectedness, a sense of lacking fulfillment, missing out on joy, not feeling a sense of fullness. Why? You're not living in harmony with your heart's desire. That's why. And by your heart's desire, I mean heart in terms of your inner soul being, your spiritual nature. When we're out of accord with that, we may feel a sense of unease, but it's more of a spiritual unease because we're not aligned and attuned and connected to our spiritual purpose as deeply as we can. And there can be a fear of spiritual failure. What if I don't fulfill everything I want to fulfill in this incarnation because I'm not as deeply connected and expressing and extending my soul nature in my relationships, in my creativity, and my living? Lastly, you can contemplate spiritual art for inspiration. I've got quite a spiritual art collection. I find it very helpful sometimes. The symbolic images can be very evocative, and you can make spiritual art for yourself by creating spiritually inspired images which evoke the remembrance of your own soul nature. Edgar Cayce and others gave examples of this where they said you could do something called a life seal, which contained images of some of the more meaningful past lives in which you had spiritual success in spiritual growth. And these things would be like talismans and symbols that would waken memories within you. And I've used those to good effect in my own life. So I invite you to explore those for yourself as a way to not only heal fear, but to be a source of spiritual inspiration and a connection to a deeper sense of your soul nature.